Social, they have you up by 3%, and this is different because it's actual people wagering real money on it. 1.7 billion on you to win. So people say it's a more accurate way to actually assess polling. What do you think about that? This is what Elon tweeted out. He posted that you're up 3 points on Polymarket.
So I looked at it before. We're up 9 points, and I think we had one where we're up 50 points. I'll give you that one. I think we're going to do well. Look, this woman is incompetent. She's done a terrible job. She's had a lot of problems. And we had that for 4 years with Biden. And we can't have another 4 years. We're not going to have a country left. You won't even have your show left. Okay? We're not going to have a country left. And on top of that, we are very close to World War III. We really are. Very, very close to World War III. And if we don't solve it, we're going to have a lot of problems. And we've never been in a position of danger like we are right now because of nuclear weapons, because of the whole nuclear thing, and other types of weapons. And we have to get it straightened out. We have to get it straightened out.
You saw Melania. She came out with a book.
Yeah.
It's doing really well.
It's doing great.
Is she like your secret weapon? And how did you first meet her and kind of get her to fall for you?
I wouldn't call it a weapon, but secret weapon, that's a tough term. It's pretty interesting. But she's great. She's a wonderful person. She was a great first lady. People love her. Yeah, she wrote a book called Melania. And it's number one, I think, number 1 or 2. And doing good. It's really doing good. And she worked hard on it. And yeah, she loves the country. She wrote something that was very good. I was a little bit nervous before I read it.
Whenever the wife...
You never know. I mean, maybe she said bad things.
What do you take away from Kamala having a beer with Stephen Colbert? Seems like that'd be the...
Well, a lot of people thought it was terrible. A lot of people said she shouldn't be drinking at all. She shouldn't be drinking. So she got some other problems. But it was a little different. No, they hit her.
Probably drank Bud Light.
She probably had a few before that too, right?
That was the one we saw.
I don't know. It could be. That's what the rumor is. Yeah, the polls are looking good. The polls are... I want to get off that subject because, if I criticize, I'd be criticized for... No, she probably shouldn't have done that. She got hit hard for that. But I don't think it was that big a deal. No.
How important is it? As you know, we're helping with Send the Vote, which we're helping our audience.
That.
Yeah, so if you guys, while President Trump's here too, I always say this too, we can't just talk about it and tweet about it. We got to actually get out and vote.
Thank you, fellas. That's good.
Any young people that are watching right now too, if you guys aren't registered to vote, you guys can go to sendthevote.com, and it has everything you need to make sure that your vote's actually going to be counted too. So we need everybody to get up and vote, and not just, I think a lot of young people like to talk about it and they're passionate, but how important is it that people actually get out and vote?
Well, it's so important, and it's November 5th, but in every place just about, you can vote early. And see, I'd like same-day voting, like it used to be. One day, even if you declare like a holiday, one day. This way, a lot of things can't happen. But we don't have that system. We have a system where you can vote at a leisurely pace. And we just hope that everybody goes out. We're going to make our, I have a little statement. It's called Make America Great Again, MAGA, which is the biggest political movement in the history of the country.
There are never too many asses.
And we're going to make America great again. And we have to start. We did it, and then we had an interlude. We were rudely interrupted, and now it's happening again at a level that nobody's ever seen before. For instance, we're going to a location that I think some of you are coming. Who's going with us? Are you coming? We're going to have a good time. So I hear that the crowd is rather breathtaking, the size of it. And you're going to have some...
Do you do many rallies in California? This is like a unique one.
No, but I've done them, and we've had a big... Look, I think that if the voting was legit in California, it's all mail-in ballots, mail-out, mail-in. They're all over the place. So. Is it 36 or 38 million ballots? They get mailed. Everybody gets mail. Some people get more than one ballot. They say that California, automatically you lose. I say that if it was a straight election, I would win in California because I do great with Hispanics. With the African American population, I'm getting record numbers. Nobody's ever seen that. For Republican, record numbers. And I'm doing well, and I believe that if we had an honest election, if God would come down and be our vote counter, right? That would be an honest election. I think I'd win. But I do it in California because we have a lot of people ask me to do it. It's also near other states, so they're going to be going.
How come you're so genuine with every group you talk to? You never change your accents or try to appeal to who you're talking to.
Like her.
Yeah. I see you're always the same. I'm trying to figure that out.
I haven't tried that. I don't think it plays too well. I saw that the other day. I don't think it plays too well.
Yeah, I don't like it. Talking about mentioning send a vote, what's your message to first-time voters or maybe 18, the youth?
Well, I think voting is a very great privilege. Some people don't appreciate it as young people, and other people appreciate it really a lot. It's like a very important day. They should appreciate it because it's very special. What we have to do is make sure the votes are counted, that it's all honest. We have an expression, too big to rig, because if there's a point at which it's overwhelming. And we may be at that point. I mean, I hope we're at that point. We're going to turn the nation around. We're going to have strong borders, fair borders. I want people to come in. They have to come in legally. We have people pouring into our borders from prisons, from jails. They're coming in from mental institutions. Nobody knows who they are. From all over the world. And they're coming into our country. They had 13,000 murderers coming into our country. They were in jail for murder. They released them into our country because it's very expensive to keep them in jail. Jails and all are very expensive. They have some that were going to get the death penalty. They released them into our country. So these people are released into the country. Drug dealers, drug lords are released into our country. And that's what we have. These people are crazy to allow this to happen. It should have never been allowed to happen. And we're going to get them out. We're going to get them out fast. Otherwise, we're not going to have a country left.
I have a question, Mr. President. Yeah. So we have a lot of college fans and a lot of fans that are going into college. College is really expensive right now. What are you going to do to maybe help make college less expensive and more affordable?
Well, the biggest thing you can do is, and this is a little bit after college, you got to make sure everyone gets a job when they get out of college, and all of a sudden things look a lot better. Biden was trying to do something with student debt, but he failed to get it done. He couldn't get it done. He couldn't get a lot of things done, but he wanted to do something on student debt, as you know, and it's dead. It just died. What we're going to do is certain colleges have tremendous amounts of money. I mean, almost an unfair amount of money. And we're looking at that, the endowments, using their endowments to help people, and they should use them. They should use endowment to help people finance it. But the federal government's going to remain financing, and they're going to help students. You got to help them. The biggest thing we can do is make the economy incredible. So when you get into college, you study something, and you get out, and you get yourself a great job. Right now, they don't have that. And the other thing is, they're charging too much. The colleges have gone up more. The price of a college has gone up so much, more than almost anything else I could think of for an education. You know why? Because the government hands out money. So they have no reason to keep it down. So we're going to look into that very carefully. We're going to get it down for students. We're going to get it way down, and we're going to make it possible for them to be able to go to college.
All right, guys, I'm going to interrupt the pod really quick. I want to let you guys know about my favorite healthy snack, board jerky. All right, you guys know, you've seen me. I'm trying to be a little more healthy these days. I was getting too many comments. You guys telling me I look pregnant and shit. I was staying up all night crying. So now I'm into healthy snacks, and board jerky is one of my favorites. This jerky, if you guys try it, I don't even have to say it, try it for yourself. The quality of the jerky is absolutely unbelievable. And I'm a big jerky guy, and this jerky is by far the best. I'm traveling a lot all the time, so I always have board jerky on me when I get hungry. There's 4 different flavors. My favorite's the original. The macros are unbelievable. There's lots and lots of protein. So it's just a great healthy snack. Keep the barrel in check. But yeah, trust me, if you guys like jerky, try this out, and when you try it, you'll thank me. It's available on Amazon.com. The reviews are going through the roof. Everybody loves it. So go to Amazon.com right now. Give Board Jerky out a try. Keep it in your gym bags. Keep it in your backpack. This is my favorite healthy snack. It's on me all the time. Amazon.com, Board Jerky. Let's get back on the pod.
You're doing a lot of podcasts recently. One that I would love to see you on is, I think Joe Rogan has to have you on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you do that?
Oh, sure I would.
I think Joe, like, besides us, Joe.
I think I'm doing it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So you are going to do Joe Rogan?
Yeah, I am.
That's going to be great. I think he should have had you on a long time ago because he's the best in the game, but
Is he the best one?
I think besides us and two other.
Bradley Martin's here as well.
Yeah, I mean, Joe's obviously.
No, but Joe's the GOAT of the
Okay, so
game.
tell me, give us the order. Go ahead. What is it? Who's
Joe
best?
Rogan's the best in the game for sure. And I think,
Yeah.
you know,
Did
him
Joe
having-
become so well known because of the UFC? And he does a great job with that, right? What was it that made Joe the best?
during COVID, you know, he was very outspoken on all the corruption going on during COVID. And I think that's personally when I started watching him a lot too. And just he's an honest guy too, right?
He is.
So I think
Good guy.
good guy. And I think you guys together would just
And he's
be,
got a good voice. That's important.
yeah.
He's got a good voice.
Been with the UFC for a long time,
Yeah,
right?
no, he's done it great. He does it incredibly. And that's a whole incredible thing, right?
Who's your favorite?
I just wonder, my favorite fighter?
favorite fighters. There are three favorites.
So I really like, but you know, so I talked to Dana about this a lot. Who's the best, right? So a lot of people say John Jones is the best. He's fighting soon, you know.
November.
And let's see, right after the election, I don't know. I'll either be in a very good mood or I won't.
You're going to be in a good mood.
I hope so. But yes, right after the election. But you would say Khabib. Some people would say Khabib. You know Khabib.
Khabib is
So he's
the best.
28-0 or 29, 28-0.
Give them, Father.
And they say he never lost a round. Did you ever hear that? He never lost one round.
Just mauled people.
He was great. And then he retired. His father died. And his father was his manager and I guess trainer.
This
And,
seems a bit blasphemous.
and he died and he just said, that's it. But I would say that he couldn't do better.
He's a big supporter of yours too, Khabib.
I heard that. I
saw him
met
come up to you
I
at
met him
UFC.
at one of the fights.
Do you remember what he said to you? I saw him come up to you at UFC.
He
it
did.
looked like he was
Yeah.
really passionate about something.
No, he's great. You know what he wanted to talk about? He wanted to say, is there any way you could stop the war? Because so many people are being killed. So, you know, he has a heart. He's smart. How can you stop the war?
Can I ask you a question?
And we'll get it stopped, by the way. That's with Ukraine and Russia.
We did a podcast with RFK recently, and we've talked about sort of like the deep state, and I know you've talked about this
Yeah.
on other occasions. How do we, and how would you actually make an effective change there? Because it seems like Americans as a whole feel like their money is obviously, when we're spending it, our inflation's way up, but also a lot of our tax dollars seem to go overseas in foreign interests. How do we actually stop that? Because there's so much power behind that as far as like the military
Yeah,
goes.
stop what?
I guess the giving of American money overseas, and like how do we keep more of that money here for Americans? Because there's this grip of, you know, the military-industrial complex and it's sending the money and it's going to, you know, American companies. It's like, how do we even beat something that's so
Yeah.
strong
Well,
held?
one of the big things is trade, because we get taken advantage of on trade. If you guys were a little bit older, I'd say we get screwed on trade for years. A lot of times it's our friends that do it. You know, we have Japan and the European Union and all the, and we're changing that whole thing around. We're going to bring the companies back. And you're right, it's a good question. We're bringing them back. We're going to keep our money here. We're going to pay down debt. I talk about liquid gold. We have more liquid gold, oil and gas than any other country in the world, more than Saudi Arabia, more than Russia. And we're going to use it. We don't use it. We don't use it fully. We could supply the whole world, and we're going to pay down debt, and we're going to do great things, and that's why I'm doing it now. In fact, I have to go because I have to go right now
This seems a bit
to
blasphemous.
Coachella, and I think a couple of you guys are coming with me, and it's going to be fun. But we have a big crowd. Do you have any idea how big the crowd is?
No.
I'm hearing it's big.
We all know your rallies are the biggest, so.
Huh?
We know your rallies are the biggest.
We have great rallies.
We know
I
that.
like this guy. You know, he's a nice guy.
There you go, Stein.
I have to ask you about
Go
this.
ahead.
There's a very viral clip of you, or someone telling a story about you. You had a meeting with a leader of the Taliban, and you said, if you hurt any Americans, I will kill you. And you gave him a picture of his house. in his location. I just want to verify if that's a true.
Well, I'm not allowed to comment on it, really. But let's put it this way. For 18 months, we were losing a lot of soldiers with the Taliban in Afghanistan. And for 18 months, we didn't lose one soldier, not one. And then I left, and these clowns took over. And then we had the worst, that whole situation was horrible, right? With the airlift and the whole thing, and people falling off the airplane.
It was sad. I remember at the RNC, I was there too, and when those Gold Star families came out and told their stories, it was just insane.
They
to
lost
see
15,
that.
and many people so badly hurt. Nobody ever talks about them, like the legs missing and the arms missing and the face obliterated. And that was all Biden. That was Biden's fault, just like, and her fault. She's the vice president. Did you see the other day where she said, no, I agree with everything he did? That was a killer. Her staff said, you gotta be kidding. You couldn't have said that, because all the bad things they did. 325,000 children are missing. Did you know that? 325,000.
Is it just like purposeful negligence, or is it just like
Incompetence.
knowing?
And maybe bad, but incompetence. But you didn't hear that. 325,000 kids. They never write about it, the papers. Probably dead, many of them, or sex slavery. But 325,000 young children are dead coming through the border. Can you believe it? You don't even hear about it. The press, the fake news doesn't want to write about it. They want to write if you talk about an election, but they don't want to write about that. 325,000 kids are dead because of Biden and Kamala. Now, we're going to straighten the country out, and we're going to get the bad guys out of our country very fast. The killers, the murderers, the drug dealers, we're going to get them out.
And yeah, the whole media obviously has just been against you, and I feel like it's flipping now, but even the talk show hosts, how we talked about 60 Minutes. We wanted to do this with you. The talk show hosts, are they great, or do we need to make them great again and kind of go one by one here? So, great or great again, Jimmy Kimmel?
Well, he's not, he's not. First of all, they all have bad ratings. The one that's the most successful is Greg.
Who?
Greg Gutfeld. So Jimmy Kimmel, we got to make him great again.
Jimmy Kimmel's a loser. Look, we would do Jimmy Kimmel. I'd do Jimmy Kimmel. I did him a lot.
Yeah.
He used to greet me on the sidewalk outside of his studio. I'd come in. This was before politics, of course. But I'd come in, and he'd be standing on the sidewalk. Oh, sir, may I bring you in? He'd bring me in every time. And then I ran for politics. I never, got involved with him much. But
Switch up.
all they do is talk bad about Trump. That's all. The whole show is talking bad about Trump. They're all equally bad. But we'll go through the View. I know them. So Whoopi's a filthy mouth on her. I've hired Whoopi over the years, at hotels that I own. We hired her once, and I went. She was so filthy, disgusting, dirty with her mouth that the whole group left. There was nobody watching her. She was a comedian. And you know what? Nobody knows this. She said, I admire you so much. Would you do me a favor, would you do a cameo in a movie I'm making? I did a cameo in some crummy movie she made. And then I run for politics. Joy is, she thought the world was flat. You saw that, right? Joy is dumb. The other one worked for me. She wrote a letter. One of them, out of whatever her name is. She worked for me in the White House. She writes a letter. This was the greatest experience. You're the greatest president. I love you. You're the greatest president. There's nobody else. We have the letter someplace. It's a letter that she wrote when she left the White House. Then all of a sudden they hire her and she goes negative. Okay, they said, hey, we'll give you a lot of money if you go negative, whatever her name is. Let's see, the other two I didn't know. Oh, this guy I know, Jimmy Fallon. I'm telling you, I hate to use, but they're all losers. They're all lightweights, though. This guy, so I'm on a show before politics. It makes you realize how great Johnny Carson was, actually. That's the only thing. Because there's nothing to watch. Their ratings are horrible. They're cutting him back to 4 days, which is, can you imagine cutting Johnny Carson back to 4 days? That didn't happen. But Johnny Carson, I grew up with him and others that were very talented. These people, so Jimmy Fallon asks me if he could do one thing. Could he play with my hair? And I said, what do you want to do that for? I want to see if it's real. It is real, but if you have to do it, you can do it. So he didn't just play. He puts his hand in my hair, and he went crazy. And the audience went wild, and they loved it. And that was the end of that. And it played, and he got very high ratings on the show. 6 months later, he stood up. He was the radical left went after him because they humanized me. And 6 months later, he goes up on the show, and he said, I'd like to apologize for doing that. I didn't realize I was going to humanize. He was a nice guy. And he was doing badly, but now he's doing much worse. He lost his whole audience when he did that. You know, another loser is Howard Stern.
He's on that list. Yeah.
When he left me, because I dropped him, I didn't want to do a show anymore. Howard Stern, because he was considering Hillary. He's not for Hillary. He's not for Hillary, but he wanted to be politically correct or something. Didn't work out too well. His show's practically dead, I think. I don't know. I mean, I haven't heard his name in years, but now he did an interview with her. It was so sad. He's like asking her all these easy questions, like written out. Oh, and what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? And it's just a different guy. I used to do a show. I had numerous of his top 10 shows ever. You know, they had a top 10 list.
Right.
Today, I understand they disbanded the list because I was on it so much. Greg Gutfeld is great. Greg Gutfeld didn't like me when he first started. He just didn't like me. And then I could watch. It was a beautiful thing. He said, you know, I don't like him. But he said he was going to knock out ISIS, and he did. He said he was going to have a strong border, and he did. He said employment, everything was good. He said, I'm starting to like him. Then, a little more time goes by. He said, well, am I better off liking somebody who's incompetent or not liking somebody and everything he does works out great for the country? And he ended up liking me a lot. But I did his show